gathered at the Circle Perilous, and to all the defenders of this broken land, welcome to episode 30 of Arakko Public Radio for the week of March 15th. We are the Casual X-Men Chat Show, where we chat everything happening in Marvel's mutants every single week. I'm Rod, and this is the Ecstatics to my X-Force, my one and only Omega mutant, Keegan. And I guess that would make this man our X-Cellent. Let's welcome back the third chair, our broken moderator for this broken land, the third host of Bag of Picks, Owain, the Broken Record.
Back again.
What's up, boys?
Not too much.
Not
What about
much.
yourself?
Just getting going, getting ready.
Yeah. You are back from your spring break.
Yes.
And it's, 4 a.m. your time, Owen?
3 a.m., yeah.
We, this week, are talking about Immoral X-Men number 2, Bishop War College number 2, Wolverine 31, X-Cellent number 1, and going around the Marvel Universe to talk Captain Marvel number 47. Ran by Kieran Gillen, drawn by Andrea DeVito. 100 years into the Sinister Council's reign, Hope and Exodus prepare an attack on the Compact, a fragile alliance of the surviving alien empires. Hope's gone full Cable with cybernetic facial features and arm. She borrows Exodus's powers and has a fun battle with a Super Skrull who's wielding 4 hammers that all look like Ronan the Accusers. She unleashes L-bombs on the planets, volatile weapons that combine Lila Cheney's teleportation mixed with Firestar, Harry Leland, and Micromax. That means nuclear fission, ever expanding in both mass and scale. It literally splits the planets into fractions. A data page reveals Hope's belief that they are close to finishing off the Compact. We get introduced to the Reliquary Arbor, which replaced the Arbor Magna, and learn that they use a vat of Hope's body parts to keep the resurrection protocols moving while she leads the army. Hope's narration explains her desire for a new war as this one winds down, and luckily, they've already got the perfect vessel to go find new lands worth conquering. The Marauder, a sinisterized USS Enterprise, if you will. The Council asks Mr. Sinister to reveal the captain, and he introduces them to Rasputin 4, the first 5-power chimera, and a combination of Colossus, Kitty Pryde, Unis, Laura Kinney, and Quentin Quire. She easily dispatches a full army of Mystiques to the glee of the Council, who inquire, how about 6? He reveals that 5 does seem to be the limit of what can be done, and this causes the Council to agree that they have to get rid of him as soon as he leaves the room. In Mr. Sinister's quarters, he's met by Mother Righteous, who reveals herself to him for the very first time. She reveals their shared origin along with Dr. Stasis and Orbis Stellaris. Mr. Sinister incredulously tells her they'll be all 3 imposters. He reminds himself that this knowledge is only useful if he finds his Moira engine and takes it back with him. On another planet-ending expedition, Exodus abandons Hope, explaining that messiahs are more useful as martyrs anyways. As she dies, she takes comfort knowing that while she may be the first council member taken out, she won't be the last. Aboard the Marauder, Mr. Sinister frees Rasputin from the Diamond and reveals his intention to set things right with her help. Krakoa was a paradise, and he knows he ruined it. Together, they steal the ship, and when she asks how long his plan will take, he says no more than 5 years, which we know will be at least 900. So, this is the halfway mark. We are halfway through the Sins of Sinister.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We are halfway there.
It's whizzed by, I'm going to be honest. I really didn't expect it to go by this quickly. I was shocked when I realized we were halfway through already.
I can go off for a minute on what I think is making this easily the best alternate future they've done yet. I don't think Marvel has done anything anywhere near this level, and I'm sure that'll be controversial. There'll be people that get on me for it. But I think there's something about the actual structure of what they've done, and I've criticized it from the beginning, but I think having 3 separate books that tell a story about a different team that we're slowly figuring out. Each book has these parallels, but we're following 3 separate plot threads in 3 separate time periods, and none of the in-between makes it feel like a real lived-in world. The fact that we're not getting a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We're getting 1. Oh, and then also these things are happening in this other issue 1. These things are happening in this other issue 1. When paired with these huge time gaps, there's got to be a literary term for absence of the details, adding more to it.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't feel like this world exists for the plot. Whereas, like, if you go back and you read Days of Future Past or whatever, everything that happens is clearly just happening to get you from point A to point B. Whereas Sins of Sinister to me feels like a lived-in world. It feels like we've actually progressed through this future. Things have happened because of the actions of people, and it's influenced the world. But the world has continued to exist, and like that gets revealed through the fact that we watched two full-ass religions grow and evolve. And I'm really curious to see if Storm and the Brotherhood ends up taking on some religious connotations to like further that parallel, because they went hard this month so far.
Oh yeah.
Nightcrawlers was super heavy in the religious like parallels, but this issue did too. Exodus killing his Messiah because she's more useful as a martyr. Did not see that coming in the slightest.
No.
Absolutely. To one of your points, you know how like each of these books, it's a 1, 2, 3 each book alone, not really a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It feels like this is what they wanted Dark Web to be.
Yeah.
Where like you don't necessarily have to read all of them. If you just like really, really are into Storm, you can just read Storm and the Brotherhood. I don't know why you would.
I don't know why you would do that, but you theoretically could. You're right.
You theoretically could. And at the risk of making a stupid joke on what you're saying about the literary terms, it's like this is like jazz. It's about the notes you don't play just as much as the notes you do play.
Yeah.
Now, I actually, that was where my thought first went. And I was like, there's got to be a literary version of that, but
yeah.
I don't know if there is. But I'm sure someone will pipe in the comments and let us know. But I think it's interesting, the Dark Web parallel, because you're right. This succeeds at each story being able to exist on its own, but it also does a better job of wanting you to read the rest.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I never picked up Venom and was like, man, I sure wonder what's happening to Peter. But you read these and you do. You wonder, oh, I wonder what's going on with Storm while this is happening. I can't wait to grab that next week. And it's
The thing is that I'm excited for the next issues of this event, whereas with Dark Web I was like, oh no, I have more Dark Web to read.
Yes. That was me every week. I was like, how many Dark Web books do I have to read this week?
We had you on twice during Dark Web, Owen. You only had to read a few. I dragged Keegan's ass through the mud on Dark Web.
But we made it.
We survived. And you know what? We were rewarded with this. This was like the cheese at the end of the tunnel.
For all of our troubles.
We can get into some of the specifics.
Yes.
Does anyone believe Sinister's face turn? Is he really learned a lesson?
It would be interesting from a narrative perspective to have Sinister suddenly go from, yes, let's bomb the fuck out of Krakoa, let's get rid of everything, to suddenly realizing, hang on a minute, maybe they had a bit of a point. And meanwhile, all of the other people who sat on the council and loved Krakoa are like, yeah, okay, it's gone to space.
That's a good point. That's a beautiful, ironic twist.
I don't know that I buy it. I think he's turning a good leaf over in so much that the Miz or MJF would turn over to a fit. Like it's purely self-serving. There is no good behind it.
I do like his hero outfit that he's built for himself, like subtly, so like council obviously didn't get suspicious, but like, there is some real like heroic bodysuit like qualities to his new look that help emphasize what's going on with his setting her free. Being able to just program his own genes on and off, the scientist in me wants to know how that works. That he's just like flips a switch and the diamond disappears and she's no longer under his control is pretty cool.
So, do we think that when Sins of Sinister is all over now, that if Sinister has a face turn, will it stick?
That is a good question.
If he comes out of it with heroic tendencies, let's say, I would say I imagine it would stick as long as Gillen stays. Like, I don't imagine he'll have him flip-flop a bunch. I would imagine if they decided to go that route, it'll last a year or two at least. I don't think they would ever just make Mr. Sinister forever a heroic character. Like, I think the rule of regressing to the most well-known version eventually would get him. But I'd love to see a 5 or 6 year stint of Mr. Sinister as a hero. I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I think at the end of the day, X-Men burned their one like true face turn, and I mean they burned it on the best possible option with Magneto, right? Like,
well, and that was also so organic over such a long period of time too. Like,
oh yeah,
that wasn't a sudden shift like we got here. So
no,
It was
but
about damn time.
I don't think you get two of those in a franchise of any level.
that's fair. I'm so curious. Well, Apocalypse, unless I guess we don't really know how he's coming back. So far, he's another one. So we know that when they return to post Sins of Sinister, that the 4 characters come together. So they either know about each other or immediately find out about each other, since we now know she waited 100 years to tell Nathan, which blows my mind. You would have thought Mother Righteous would have revealed herself pretty quickly. So I'm really curious to see who. We've talked about how there's probably just the one person that can use the engine and retain any memories of what happened. Up till this week, I was thinking Mother Righteous. Now I'm back on. It'll probably be Mr. Sinister. I don't know. I don't know who it's going to be. Do you guys have thoughts on where we end up with that?
I don't know.
Or a new mechanism to allow multiple people to remember. Or that's how we keep Rasputin. Is Rasputin gets to be the one to come back somehow and is the only one that retains the timeline at all.
That would be an interesting take. I really don't. I really want us to get more of these characters back than we will. Is part of the problem. I want to keep Mother Righteous. I want to keep Wagnerine. I want to keep Rasputin. I want to keep everybody. It feels like. So that's going to be tough to deal with.
Well, I didn't make a separate news category today for it because it was literally just a cover so far. But we did get the cover for Hellfire Gala 2023, and only one of the Sinisters is front and center on it. Mm-hmm. And it's stasis of everybody. So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, we know Fall of X is Orcus heavy, so it makes sense. But it's interesting the first one to die in this crossover is apparently super, super relevant by mid-year.
Yeah. Well, I mean, who's writing Hellfire?
Right, yeah, but then that's his swan song. Dugan is going to write Hellfire, and then he's going to go write Uncanny Avengers, which I guess has also been announced since the last episode. I don't remember if we talked about it. Did we talk Uncanny Avengers?
As a avid watcher of Arakko Public Radio, no, you didn't.
Okay,
thanks, bud.
That should have been in the news. I'm sorry, I did not put that in a news post. This recording way late for a couple weeks has thrown me off. They announced Uncanny Avengers Volume 2 or 3, whatever we're on, written by Jerry Dugan and starring someone new under the Captain Krakoa mask, which we had been speculating since that Free Comic Book Day issue would be Havoc, but apparently it's like a serial killer terrorist guy, so I'm less confident now.
So
like, that was like the premise they give is like humans and mutants both want to stop him as he's doing all these false flag like terrorist attacks. I'm like, oh, maybe not. Maybe it's not the Summers brothers, but maybe it is.
Perhaps, and just hear me out here, it's another Summers brother, a new one, because
Yeah.
God knows they don't have enough of them.
It could be a new Summers brother. It could be an old Summers brother. It could be a Summers chimera. It could be any. It's a Summers chimera.
Okay, I'm fully on board now with Owen's idea of like. So we've been seeing in X-Men, in Dugan's X-Men, he had like the Brood thing, and he clearly looked pregnant when the Brood was all up in him, right? So we find out the Corsair had another Summers brother baby, but because it had like Brood DNA, it aged extra fast, and it didn't get enough love. It thinks that Scott and the others got a whole bunch of love from Dad. It's like, I didn't get any love, so I'm going to become Captain Krakoa and destroy the Summers family. Oh my God, we just wrote it for Dugan.
We did it. We did
Now,
it, boys.
if that comes out, I want
Yeah.
royalties, Dugan.
Yeah.
If you rewrite your story now, I want credit.
I know where you are. I expect my royalties.
We make a good team.
We would.
All right. Chimera Watch,
Mm-hmm.
which we only get to do 4 more times after this week. How sad is that?
That's true.
And there wasn't a lot of new chimeras this issue. We did find out what the L-bombs are, and that's pretty badass.
Yeah. In like a
Terrifying.
haunting sort of way.
Yeah.
Like, literally have to be kept in a Tempest vault until they're used because they're so dangerous.
Yeah.
We got to meet Rasputin. I think that's the same combo as in Powers of X. Like, I think the look changed, but the actual creation is the same, right?
I think
More or
so.
less.
I
think so.
And then I put the Hope Vat. I don't know if we really count that, but it's an interesting use of their powers. They literally just throw her arms in a...
Is it a chimera if it's just like a spleen and a arm?
I mean, it's a chimera of her body parts. You know, in a lot of ways, this was my favorite issue yet.
Really?
But when it comes to the chimera, I would say it was the weakest issue yet.
Mm-hmm.
There was nothing new, nothing fresh, nothing with pizzazz.
That's that exactly. And for a Sinister-centered event, we need more pizzazz.
I have faith Ewing will save us.
Oh yeah.
Next week, he's going to give us something grotesque, make us sick to our stomach. All right.
I do agree that this is my favorite one so far, but it isn't my favorite issue of the week.
In general or of X-Men? Like, are we going to get to your favorite?
Of X-Men.
No spoilers then. No spoilies.
We will be covering my favorite.
Ooh, I'm interested.
I'm nervous though. I talked some smack about some of the books.
But that's
I
okay.
know.
Just,
right.
I know.
If it's Wolverine, you're going to be in trouble. Are we going to... do you guys have anything else before I move on to the game? Because every book has a game this week.
Oh, every book has a game this week.
It's the same game. It's the same game just for every book.
What are we
no.
getting hung for this week?
Do we have anything else on Immoral? Because I want to do it last each thing.
I'm ready. I'm ready for this game.
All right. It is a game you have played a version of before.
Oh boy.
You actually called it. Oh, and it is Make More Mutants, Marry, Kill. I almost changed it once you called me out on it, but the options I came up with were too good.
Okay.
So for this one, we're calling it the Messiah Edition.
Okay.
And don't worry, I originally included Jesus and I took him off to be safe because you guys freaked out so much about the queens.
Listen, okay. No, I'm not going to go there. I was going to say terrible things.
Make More Mutants, Make More Mutants, Marry, Kill, Mother Righteous, Hope, Legion. So the 3 different mutant messiahs we've gotten in recent years.
So I pretty safely have mine already. I'm gonna kill Legion. I'm gonna make more mutants with Hope, and I'm gonna marry Mother Righteous, because who wouldn't?
Yeah.
Okay. So for me, I was toying around. Mine was clearly marrying Mother Righteous as well. It's just the correct objective answer. I was going back and forth on killing Legion or Hope. However, I think I'm going to have to also go with killing Legion because I don't want to have to fight Exodus.
A valid answer.
Very valid answer. Okay, so here's my only issue. We've seen how the Essexes are in marriage. And I don't want nothing to do with that. So, make more mutants with Mother Righteous. I'm going to marry Hope because unless it's the sinisterized Hope, she's a pretty cool lady. Like, I feel like we could play some Madden, eat some Cheetos, raise me and Mother Righteous's babies. It would totally work out. And then, yeah, I have to kill Legion.
Good.
I did
We were
forget,
still the right
so
one.
I'm already breaking my own rule here about not or about having that saved for last. And this actually really works because you were on the episode. Did you guys catch the pretty heavy reference to the further adventures of Cyclops and Phoenix in this issue?
I might have missed it. What was
So-
the reference?
So when he's talking to Mother Righteous, he talks about how, like, well, of course I'm the real one. I got the diamond, and like when Apocalypse gave me my powers, he gave me the diamond. You know, it was me. He gave me the diamond, which, like, he's wrong because we then saw in Immortal X-Men that the one that actually got the diamond died, and like all four of them were clones. But he is the one that got the same suit instead of the other suit, so that might make him more real. I don't know. Who's real? Who's not real? We don't know. But I thought it was cool that they brought it into lore again. Like, they seem to keep pulling that in a cool way that I think shows Gillen really, really likes that miniseries.
I'm
Absolutely.
glad we read it when we did.
Yeah, I am too, because I've been able to pick up on a lot of those things, especially with like Immortal issue and all that. But I did catch that. I didn't think if that was like a specific or if there's like a more like niche reference. But yeah, I caught that. That was cool. I like that a lot.
Oh yeah, reference might have been the wrong way to phrase it, but
Oh.
the incorporating it again, I really dug.
Yeah.
A callback.
Yeah, a callback.
Written by J. Holth and drama Sean Hill, it opens with Bishop shocked and confused as he lays in front of Scott, Jean, and the Xavier School students, but all of them are African American? They end up fighting while Bishop tries to explain, and Iceman, Angel, and Beast show up to back up Jean and Scott. Quickly, Charles Xavier shows up and puts a stop to it, revealing he knows exactly what's going on. But don't worry, they won't explain to us. It brings in his realities, Lucas Bishop, to vouch for him. A data page reveals this is Earth 63. Back in 616, the Fenris siblings get a video call from Moira, who insists they can't let Bishop or the kids interrupt the plan revealed to be using Blight's will provided by the Coven Akaba to literally poison Krakoa. Lost in the caverns, the kids bicker about the Blight's will and Bishop until the Fenris twins find them and attack again. The effects of the Blight's will causes a mass to absorb Cam and combine them into a horrifying monster that also absorbs Andreas, and the issue ends with Andrea opening fire on the, dare I say it, Chimera? Seriously, why are all of the stories just like, oh, we got Sins of Sinister going, let's just combine our mutants too? I feel like every week we're getting another book doing this.
Yeah, it does seem like that.
Did this issue feel really short to you guys?
It felt really short.
Yeah, it definitely didn't go on as long as I wanted it to.
I feel like the fight, which didn't even really, like, it wasn't like an exciting fight because it was literally them holding back, not really hitting each other that hard. It was like 9 pages. It felt like that was the majority of, like, that was all we saw Bishop really of Bishop. A book called Bishop War College had very little Bishop and zero college.
Yeah.
They're at the Institute for Gifted Youngsters.
Did any of them look college age to you, Keegan, sir?
They're
Listen.
youngsters.
Listen, man. Youngsters, as long as you're younger than me, you're a youngster. So.
Oh, hell yeah, I'm a youngster.
Exactly.
I'm an old.
You're an oldster. It happens to the best of us. So, okay, here's my thing with this book. I am torn with it So with the first issue, I was like, okay, I don't get why they're not featuring like X-Men that are already, black or African American or anything with that, like X-Men that are already that, why they're switching it up to an alternate universe. But with that being said, I am enjoying the Bishop side of it more than I am the
kids.
The kids. The kids to me, like, it's fine. I don't hate it. But when it switched over to the kids, I was like, okay, but can I get some more Bishop though, please? That's where I was at.
So, one thing I will say is that whenever I close my eyes now, I will see that design for Beast just etched into my brain, standing in the corner of my room.
Don't worry, my friend. We got a game coming up.
Oh no!
I actually I dug the design. I don't love the issue. I think it flew by. It did not have any substance. I feel like for a 5-issue mini, we're almost halfway through and we haven't had any of the premise really explained to us. Like,
that's a fair assessment, I could say.
I just, that part's really frustrating to me. I really was looking forward to Bishop training some kids, hopefully some underrepresented groups of X-Men. And like, I guess the Amos group has some underrepresented groups in that lineup, but we hardly get to know them because they're unconscious for most of the time they're ever on the panel.
Yeah.
But I think they're doing something really interesting right now that is becoming more and more apparent with these mini-series that are all the kind of, we talked last week about how they're doing these intermission mini-series between like books that are of Destiny of X that are wrapping up and then launching the Fall of X books. And we're seeing how interconnected they are, because I was absolutely shocked when they were like, oh yeah, no, it's the Coven of Kaba stuff. And they're providing the Blightswill to Moira, who's apparently the one overseeing the Fenris twins. And like, so the Captain Britain book is getting really tied into this, which is getting really tied in with Lethal Legion. Like, they all have this through line while still being able to be read on their own, which I think is a neat way to handle this. Like, we don't really know what we're doing. Well, let's tell a bunch of little stories that all combine to show just what shitheads Coven of Kaba are. I think that's kind of neat.
Yeah.
I was not expecting them to all kind of have that through line when they were all announced. They all just seemed like, oh yeah, they don't know what they're doing.
No. So as you successfully guessed, this was actually my favorite issue of the week. Yeah, sue me. I just find it interesting. Like, I am the most intrigued for this book out of all of them.
Okay.
Now, a part of that could be because we finally have at least a sliver of justice for Armor, which is in my book a win in any regard. But
and way overdue.
Exactly. But it's also the possibilities of where this book could go from here, and where these particular characters or potential team could go after this, because I do really like these characters, and I would like to see more of them, perhaps not crammed in a miniseries.
I'd like to see them actually training with Bishop. I think immediately separating them, like, killed a lot of my hype, but you're right. It's a really cool team. There's so much potential with them.
I do like it. I like your reasoning for it.
I was just going to say, that was a bold take. I was surprised by it, but your logic is completely sound. I understand why.
it's a really good sales pitch that I could see, like, yeah, okay, totally.
I don't know that it makes me any more excited for 3 than I was, but
I I would like to see if 3 can do it, which I don't know that it will, since it still feels like we're setting up, 2/5 into the series. If they can set up something with that team going further, then
Yeah.
I will be very excited.
Any other thoughts before we have our Make More Mutants, Marry, Kill of the issue?
Please God, someone have another thought.
I'm sorry, but I don't have any other thoughts.
I don't either.
All right, boys. We have current 616 Beast.
Oh, God.
We have Earth 63 Beast. We have Age of Apocalypse's infamous Dark Beast.
Here's the thing. Not the direction I thought you were taking it in.
Well, you'll have to give what you thought next. We'll have 2 this round. I want to hear what you were thinking, but
Okay.
first, let's do the Beast off.
So
Should have included Mr. Beast. Damn it.
to me, no matter who I pick here, I'm gonna be unhappy. I'm living a life of sadness. So I'm gonna say that I was very, very tempted to kill Earth 63 Beast because I genuinely am unnerved by the design. But because you mentioned just normal Beast, he has to die. He just has to, and not even by like natural causes. I'm doing it by my own hand. I'm gonna marry Dark Beast. I think, yeah, sure. And then I'm gonna make more mutants with Earth 63 Beast.
I'm killing 616 Beast, absolutely. No resurrections, all disintegrations. Let's get this jabroni out of here. I'm going to make more mutants with Dark Beast, and I will marry Earth 63 Beast because since this is kind of a play off of the original team,
He's the more lighthearted.
There's a hope that this Beast will be a lighthearted, kind person, and I'm gonna hold on to that hope.
Okay.
Holding on to that hope like my name is Exodus.
I believe mine is actually the same as Keegan's, but I have different reasoning. So yeah, 616 has to die. Like, it's morally reprehensible for you to leave him alive. So
yeah,
that's an easy answer. And then I'm gonna make more mutants with Dark Beast because he's just ahead right now. So that means I can receive without ever having to give up anything. 0 effort on my end. And then just looking at Earth 63 Beast, he just seems like he'd be a good spooner. So I feel like it would be a healthy marriage. Like, he'd be able to cradle me well. You guys want to talk Wolverine?
Well, you did say that I had to say where I thought you were going with it.
Yeah, what was yours?
I thought you were just going to go Earth 63 Beast, Jean, and Cyclops.
I feel like all the answers...
I thought that's where you were going with it.
I mean, we could do that one.
I mean, you marry Jean, you make more mutants with Scott, and you kill Beast.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I would much rather marry Scott and get it on with
I mean, that's fair.
Jean, but whatever. Wolverine. Written by Benjamin Percy, drawn by Juan Jose Rip. The newly revived Beast inner monologues about how beautiful Krakoa is while he activates the skull base, which rises as a Voltron of Krakoan geology and just walks out into the ocean. His delusions still have him believing he's acting altruistically for the sake of the island. Meanwhile, the old beast-bodied Wolverine killed last issue goes full Last of Us as his head explodes in a bloom of mushrooms and attacks Wolverine. Wolverine kills him, Beast is piloting the Megafaunazord in the waters around Krakoa and destroys a submarine for being too close to keep his operations covert. Inside, he awakens a half dozen clones of himself and tells them it's time to get to work. In the healing gardens, Cecilia is working on Jeff and his daughter, and Wolverine finally calls out the rest of the team's guilt for, letting Beast get away with it for all this time. Wolverine visits Hope to get Beast's memory files just to find out all of them, except for the time he joined the Avengers and was totally a good guy because fuck subtlety, there's our parachute. They're just going to spell it out for us. Have been deleted. Black Tom finally discovers the point is gone, and Beast sends them a message that they've all been fired. He not only has his new X-Force comprised of all Beast clones, but he's also making Wolverine clones as the weapons of X.
So,
go ahead. Before I go into my rant of the week, anybody have thoughts?
oh, I've got thoughts. I have a few thoughts. Are any of them good? No. So
I liked the look of the Megafaunazord. Like, it was a cool design.
I thought it was stupid.
Really? As the big Power Rangers guy, you didn't even like the look of it?
I thought it was stupid.
All right, I want to hear these Owen thoughts before I just go off the deep end here.
So, the first thing I'll mention is that there was one specific line in this that made me react audibly as I was reading it, which is when Beast says something to the effect of, many people will believe that Logan was harmed, but in fact I was the one that was wronged. And I'm just like, you absolute bastard. Just, you are the most insufferable blue piece of shit I've ever met. And then he spends the whole issue like, oh, what I'm doing is for the good of Krakoa and the good of mutant kind, and he calls his program Weapons of X a play on a program that was so morally reprehensible and horrible that it scarred it's scarred a character for like decades.
Over a century now, yeah.
Yeah.
I have to agree with you. I scoffed out loud during that same monologue. And I went and I found it because the line that got me was shortly after that initial point, right? Because he says, Wolverine killed me because I killed Wolverine. Some will believe Logan was in the right, but in fact, I am the one wronged, right? As you were saying. He goes on, and then he says, the greatest good for the greatest number of mutants. That has always been my true north. And I was like, you mean to tell me that Beast has never watched Hot Fuzz? You mean to tell me that the greater good is not like the scariest phrase in all of humankind? Come on.
Well, Beast might not have, but I bet you Benjamin Percy has, because we all know that's all the guy does is like make references to every fucking thing he sees. Like, let's be real. Even if he had this whole thing arced out for a while, he was watching Last of Us, like the premiere episode. It was like, shit, you know what we gotta do? That scene where Beast comes back to life, let's make it mushrooms. And he's like, Juan, he's calling up the artist. Quick, make this change. It needs to be a mushroom head.
Mushrooms are so cool. Put it in.
Just, like, how can you be so fucking dense that you don't think people are going to see right through a reference like that? But anyways, do I get to rant now? Can I do my rant?
Yes.
Can I do my rant, Mommy?
Please, go ahead.
I officially believe Benjamin Percy has the biggest logic blindsides of any writer to ever write a comic book that gets published by a major publisher. Why do we need the 5 at all if Beast can literally just make dozens of clones for himself in giant tubes. What's the fucking point of the 5? If Sage is the second greatest intelligence official on the planet, how did she not notice for ambiguous amount of time, but we know at least long enough that they made it back to the gardens, that the fucking base was gone? Like, I get that Beast is the number one, but he literally just had it stand up, leave, and no one notices. No one notices the entire X-Force base and chunk of the island got up and walked away. If Beast's priority is, I don't want to be detected, I've got to stay hidden, is his first move to literally rip a submarine in half. Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but when the military loses an entire crew of soldiers, they go looking. They try to figure out what happened. They go to the last known location. But also, like 3 pages later, he sends a notice to the whole fucking staff, hey guys, you're fired, which is a great way to stay undetected, right? Fucking A. Why is this guy given multiple comic books? Why am I arguing with people on Discord about whether or not he's popular? Why is this guy around? Who is Benjamin Percy? And what deal with the devil did he make to get to fuck up my X-Men like this? What's going on?
You know, at least it wasn't our fault this time.
Quick, Keegan, the Batman.
So, the thing about the Penguin, right, is that Colin Farrell just the best. Oh no.
Sorry, Owen, I don't know what it is. Something about you being in an episode makes me throw my shit.
Yeah, it's bad, right? Like, it's bad.
But it makes me so angry because we read lots of bad stuff, but those bad things don't go out of their way to ruin the rest of things. Like, I feel like that's what's so vile about these books, is they are actively dragging down the other X books around them by applying this logic. Like, we're supposed to go through these events believing that the 5 is this really important thing. Like, why do we give a shit that Hope dies if Beast literally has the ability to just make clones at will?
Yeah.
It's the most selfish style of writing and makes no sense in a shared world like this. Like, not just in the Marvel shared world, but then to be in the shared line that is the X-Men. It's infuriating. And I feel like there's so vocally 2 camps of people that, like, either you love it because it's different or you hate it. And, like, I try to see both sides of every argument, but I can't get past how infuriating it is for me.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, so me and Benjamin Percy, it's fight on sight.
yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it doesn't make any sense, right? Like you're saying about the clones, right? How does that work? I just don't get it.
He's literally got a walking Voltron that has just vats of clones in them. That seems like technology that, even if he doesn't share it, would end up in other people's hands and would make the 5 obsolete eventually.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way to keep that contained. When they blow up the base eventually, like, someone's gonna find it. It feels so. I'll tell you, Owen, I was really afraid when you were given this isn't my favorite issue of the week. I was very, very afraid it was gonna be this, and we were gonna be in a very big feud.
I would be face down in the bathtub before I pick the Benjamin Percy book as my favorite X book of the week.
Fair. It could be the only X-Men book of the week, and it won't be my favorite.
Yeah, absolutely.
I am amazed at the willingness to flaunt the rules for such flagship titles.
Yeah. Well, and he's doing it in 2 books, really, because the X-Force was the biggest culprit of the, like, oh, they're just doing Sins of Sinister, but not in Sins of Sinister. So he's using both of his books to kind of spit on the greater line, and it's really, really frustrating. Are you guys ready for some more Make More Mutants, Marry, Kill? Or
I
I have
am deathly afraid of where this is going from this comic.
I do have one question before that, and it's how much legal trouble do you think we would get in if we made a shirt that just said "written by Benjamin"?
I don't care. Do it.
I don't think we can get in trouble. Like, it's just names. There would be more than one Ben Percy.
That's fair.
I'll do it.
All right.
Make More Mutants,
This
Marry,
nasty
Kill.
mutants.
I don't think this one will be. I actually think, yeah, this isn't the toughest. I actually think we should have done Immortal X-Men last because I feel like that's the most fun one. But Deadpool, Omega Red, Current Beast, the three kind of nasties on the X-Force currently.
Killing Current Beast. That's don't even need to think about it.
Yeah, I really should have included him twice, but
I will make more mutants with Deadpool, and I will marry Omega Red.
Okay.
Killing Beast again.
Yeah.
Making more mutants with Omega Red, and I'll marry Deadpool. Why not? You know, he's willing to sharpen the cream cheese spreader to save his other wife, girlfriend, person. So
that's true. And it was cute seeing how in love he is with what's their name?
Oh yeah, in the comics.
Yeah, the current comic.
Valentine.
Yeah, Valentine Vong. So
yeah,
if I can be the new Valentine Vong, I guess it wouldn't be that bad.
Yeah,
good answer.
Right. Movie Deadpool and comic Deadpool, they're both very loving to their partners.
Yeah. All right. Excellent number one.
Excellent.
Written by Peter Milligan and drawn by Mike Allred. This isn't really a number one, though. This story actually starts in July 2001 when the original X-Force run lost steam and a new team came on in issue number 116. That was the first time Peter Milligan and Mike Allred worked together. Led by Zeitgeist, this team is almost completely killed off in the very first issue, with the only survivors being Hugo Girl, the original Anarchist, and Dupe. The reality TV X team, they were all replaceable individually, and the new leader was Mr. Sensitive. This team had a bunch of incarnations, and about 14 issues in, the book was relaunched, renamed Ecstatics, because when the original You Go Girl died, that was her suggestion for the team was, why don't you call yourselves Ecstatics? Because one of the running gags through it was the original X-Force was an audience stand-in and would come in and get mad at them for like stealing the name, give us back X-Force. So they finally did, after about a year, become Ecstatics, and that ran for, I don't know, another couple years. Great, really fun, kind of self-contained, humorous corner of the Marvel Universe. It was pretty much existed just for Peter Milligan to poke fun at whatever was going on in pop culture at the time. Like, for the most part, it was reality TV, but it was pretty much everything. It ended in 2006-ish. I did not write that down, unfortunately. But a couple years ago, they did a giant-sized one-shot just called Giant Size Ecstatics. I think it was 2019. And in it, You Go Girl's daughter was approached by a revived Zeitgeist, and he was like, "Come join my new team, Excellent." But he was an evil douche nozzle, and it's sort of revealed that he survived because of some shenanigans Dupe pulled. But she ended up instead recruiting a new version of Ecstatics that included Mr. Sensitive, the son of the Anarchist, Fatty, like a bunch of kind of legacy characters from Ecstatics. And it said, "Hey, to be continued in Excellent next year." And it was not the next year. It didn't come out to 2022. So that just shows you how much the pandemic really did destroy comic scheduling. Was next year turned into, hey, in 3 years, we're going to follow up this one shot. But they had that 6-issue mini last year where the two teams went head-to-head. Zeitgeist ended up stealing a spell from Doctor Strange that'll allow him to take over the world and become a god if he gets enough social media followers. So this new volume opens with Uno, the big floating eye from X-Cellent, spying on the ecstatic mansion. New recruit Tittlepip puts Zeitgeist in his place by teleporting him to Antarctica and threatening to freeze him if he's not nicer to Mirror Girl. The power dynamic has shifted and he's not happy. Mike and Hugo Girl continue their breakup that they started in last season's finale, but they catch Uno spying and blame Guy, who realizes it's actually Zeitgeist's doing. He encourages them to go on a date while Dead Girl tries to return the favor but is caught spying on Zeitgeist and is only saved by the ghost of the original Hugo Girl. Doctor Strange reveals to Mr. Sensitive Zeitgeist's plan to achieve godhood through his MyFollow account, and the ecstatic decide to beat him at his own game by playing to their audience. Zeitgeist and the X-Cellent break out a renowned hacker from prison, and Uno continues to be a total voyeur. This is one of the weirdest comics ever, so I have no idea what you guys think about it, but I love this shit. It's a hot take, I think, but Milligan's X-Force is my favorite X-Force. I love that book. It's such a weird, quirky, like almost Silver Age send-up. I just have so much fun with it.
Fair enough. I enjoyed it. It was incredibly fast-paced.
Yeah.
I was reading it and I'm like, cool, we're at okay, Antarctica, okay, cool, we're somewhere else now. And what's the word I'm looking? It was breakneck. But I enjoyed it. I like the art. The art is gorgeous.
All Red is one of the best in the biz for sure. Initial thoughts, Keegan?
I thought it was fun. It was very weird. I enjoyed it. I definitely think the art was my favorite part of it. It was fast. I think that is a good way to phrase it. I kind of almost had a hard time keeping up with what was going on.
So I had not read anything from this run since the first season ended, which was only like last June, but feels like longer ago.
It does feel like longer ago.
So I reread the weird one shot from 2019 and then the first series of X-Men. I didn't go back and read the original run at all, but I reread the like current modern stuff right before I read this issue. And I feel like that's the only reason it made any sense to me. Like this, in a way that most number ones didn't set up jack shit. Like it just immediately picked up where the last issue ended and expected everyone to be caught up to speed. And I feel like when they take the time to make it issue or season 2 and take the time to wait 6 months, and it's really weird to do zero setup, zero like giving people their bearings, because I would have been straight up lost. I imagine to an extent you guys probably were, since it sounds like you guys either didn't finish the first volume or haven't read it since it originally came out.
Yeah.
It did zero explanation of who these people were. Like we met Tittlepip last season in the very last issue, which is a really weird way to introduce a character. So you'd think they would have set her up better here than just, oh yeah, she doesn't like Zeitgeist, she's gonna put him in his place, and like that's all we see from her. It feels much more like issue 7 than a new mini.
Yeah.
But I still love it.
Yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes. Depending on how I feel about it, I might go back and reread the first volume. Because I fell off of the first volume just because I was kind of having a hard time with it the first time. But
I think even it did a pretty bad job if you haven't read like it's in no way like new reader friendly. It very much expects you to have read his X-Force and his Ecstatics, which we might, if our schedule ever slows down to the point where we have like a chance to read an old book, I might make you read the first arc of it or something, because like there is something really, really brilliant, and we definitely hadn't seen before, and I don't think I've seen since, when it gives you a cast in the first issue and literally kills them all. Like there's something so brilliant about this is your new X-Force. These are the characters you're gonna love, and they're already dead.
So, I mean, that's part of what I loved about James Gunn's The Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Right, is they get you all of these characters that you're excited to see, and they murder them all.
Yeah.
I believe Zeitgeist is the only character from this entire like crew that's been adapted to any other format, and Deadpool 2, he's the guy that
Yeah.
joins the team and then dies immediately, and
Mhm.
a lot of like just X-Force fans were like, who the hell is this guy? And it's like, yeah, he was on the X-Force, he was on the other X-Force.
Yeah.
But
I'll probably try and reread the first run before the next lot comes out.
I will tell you, it makes a lot more sense if it's fresh in your mind, because it is just a continuation. But I also understand. I could reading it, as much as I love it. Talk about how Immoral X-Men is not your favorite. This might be my favorite issue of the week. I think Immoral still wins out, but it's close. I love them both. I 100% though get how this isn't everyone's cup of tea, and I don't think it tries to be though. Like, it knows what it is. It's a dark, weird sense of humor. You guys ready for Make More Mutants, Marry, Kill? I think this is our last round. You ready?
It should be our last round. Yeah. Let's
I
do
might
it.
make one up for Captain Marvel. We'll see. I might throw one at you.
Oh, that's right. We do have Captain Marvel. Whoops.
That's just in a round, though. We got Dead Girl, You Go Girl, and Tittlepip. Feel free, if you need to look up who they are, feel free.
Don't call me out on what I'm doing exactly right now.
We are going with this generation's You Go Girl, not the original. If that makes any influence on your decision.
And I'm sorry. Could you give me the three one more time?
Dead Girl.
Mm-hmm.
You Go Girl 2, I guess you'd call her. In this issue, she came out. She was coming up with all their other nicknames, but or Tittlepip.
Okay. Let me put some thought into this.
Loud keyboard clicking. Let me put some thought into it.
Yeah. Listen. Let me put some thought into it.
I mean, while you're going, I'll give my answers.
Yeah.
Everyone has at some point dreamed of fucking a ghost. So I'm gonna make More Mutants with Dead Girl. I'll marry You Go Girl, and I'm gonna have to kill Tittlepip because listen to that name. Like, you can't take someone seriously named Tittlepip.
So
But the British guy's gonna love Tittlepip because that sounds like a candy bar from their land.
I
But
will
go on.
kill Tittlepip. Bastard.
For copyright infringement against Curly Whirly.
Look, that's not this one. Don't you bring that here. I will make More Mutants with You Go Girl, and I will marry Dead Girl.
She won't take up the bed. That's nice.
I will also kill Tittlepip. Because why not, right?
We're getting way too comfortable with murders. Why not? Just a little stab, whatever.
Listen, if I could kill Beast a fourth, third, sixth time, I would. I will make More Mutants with Dead Girl and marry You Go Girl. Why not?
Respectable choices.
Yeah.
You guys ready to go around the Marvel Universe?
I'll happily go around the Marvel Universe.
Captain Marvel 47 was the continuation of the Brood story. I did not write a full summary of it just because, frankly, it was already a long episode. We were already kind of running late. But I did like it. I like that Kelly Thompson is writing really good versions of a bunch of X-Men I like.
Yeah. It's well done. It's a good X-Men story.
It's interesting to me that it's like a 6-issue arc, but it feels like the less important Brood story in like the overarching sense. Like it feels like it's a much more important story to the characters that are in the story, but when it comes to like the status of the Brood in the world, it feels like the 3-issue X-Men story is a way bigger deal than this 6-issue Captain Marvel story, where it's almost ancillary.
Yeah.
I really like the way Kelly Thompson writes Laura. Like, give her a Laura ongoing.
Honestly, I think that's probably like one of my favorite parts of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have a ton to say about it. It's just like it's a Brood story.
I'll be honest, I'm already a little brooded out. Like, I feel like I've kind of forgotten how one note they kind of feel. I was excited when I saw, oh, cool, the Brood are coming back. And now we're like 3 issues in. I'm like, we're gonna brood for a year or two. They can go hang out.
You know, it's just, I know it's not the same, but it's just like, you call it the Brood, you call it Clickers, you call it the Flood, you call it what you want. It's boring to me.
That's fair. It's fair. I do feel like it's a trope that has been so well trod at this point. It's hard to be fresh with it.
Yeah,
especially nowadays.
Yeah,
I mean that's really where it lands for me.
Like, I like the Brood. Don't get me wrong, but as you said, I was excited they were back, and now I'm like, cool. When can they not be back?
Well, especially I haven't been reading Captain Marvel, so I don't know how much it's derailing that story. But Dugan has a lot of open plot threads. He has to wrap up by now June. It's like we're spending 3 issues here. Like let's get into what's going to happen with Talon and what's going to happen with Forge. Like there's all these dangling threads that we're apparently not going to deal with because we'd rather deal with the Brood for 3 issues.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we got to find out the birth of, I don't know, Frankie Summers.
Oh man, I can't wait for that. That's going to be so good. You guys ready for next week?
Yeah, let's look at next week.
All right, next week we've got Storm and the Brotherhood of Mutants #2, Marauders #12, and Extreme X-Men #4, which gives us one more round of Make More Mutants, Marry, Kill. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Storm, Kitty Pryde, Rachel Summers.
Okay.
So I'm gonna kill Beast. I will kill Rachel Summers. I will marry.
All right, Sinister, going right for the Summers blood.
I will marry Storm because of course. And the other one was Kitty Pryde, right?
Yeah.
I will make more mutants with Kitty Pryde, and I have never been more satisfied with any of my answers than with this one.
I was gonna say I've never seen someone seem to be like act like they're taking a bullet by having sex with Kitty Pryde, and I will for you who make more mutants with Kitty Pryde. That's a sacrifice I'll make.
It's because here's the thing: Owen has said the correct answer. This is one of the few times that there is a 100% correct answer, and it's this one, right? Because if Storm is on the table, there is no not marrying Storm. You marry Storm. It's Storm.
Of course.
Okay.
Every time.
I have to point something out, though, and I'm going to go back and check. I'm pretty sure every single one of your answers has been like, I agree with Owen. Like, I feel like you're avoiding any heat. You're like, I'm not going to take any heat for my answer.
It's not about heat. It's about being men of taste.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. I got one more round for us as we go out, but I think that'll do it for us. Thank you, Owen, for joining us once again, you beautiful man. Where can people find you?
So I am on TikTok as The Broken Record. I am finally posting again. Well, hey, you can come find me. We can have a good time. I'm also on Twitter as The Broken Record. Sometimes I post something funny.
Bring that
sometimes.
humor to this show next time.
Oh, damn.
Ooh. Oh, my heart, Rod.
JK. Oh, you're not going to plug Bag of Pics? I assume that's where you were headed. That's fine. After some peer pressure, we have a Discord server. Join us to chat with, and what the fuck am I? After some peer pressure, we have a Discord server. Join to chat with us and our tight-knit community. It's new, it's minimal, and I imagine it'll grow a lot in 2023, although we're a quarter of the way through and that has not happened yet. Make sure you like us. Review us on all the places, especially Spotify, so we can get rid of that sad disclaimer. Follow us, and if nothing else, tell a friend you think might enjoy. I'm That Nerdy Papa Bear on all the socials. Keegan is Bulk Ranger. Until next time, remember, 6 powers is too many. One last round. Make more mutants, marry, kill. Although, these might not be mutants, depending on who you ask.
Uh-oh.
Princess Diana, Princess Kate Middleton, or Princess Megan? You don't really have to answer. I just